Always like to get started on time and get everybody out on time. I think that's always important. So I want to call this meeting to order. And we'll start with the roll call. Graham?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Representative John Bartlett. Senator Stacy Donato. Commissioner Ellen Dunnigan. Commissioner Dr. Vileka Huerta. Commissioner Christine Jeffers.
Here.
Commissioner Elizabeth Kiefner Crawford.
Here.
Representative Joanna King. Commissioner Rebecca Kubaki. Commissioner Ramo Mizzetta here. Deputy Commissioner Keisha Rich.
Present.
Senator Greg Taylor. Commissioner Francis Vega Steele. Chairman Gregory Wilson.
Present.
Currently, we do not have a quorum.
We do not have a quorum, but we will continue. First, I'd like to welcome everyone here to the commission meeting. I want to thank all your commissioners for showing up. I really appreciate that. We're going to try to move through this meeting so that we can get everything that's here. We won't be voting, but we'll still. Is that fine? Commissioner Vega Steele. That's okay. Graham, would you? Someone else is coming?
Yes, he was on his way up.
Will that give us score?
Bartlett, I think. No, it's probably. I think it was Bartlett.
Okay. All right, we'll continue to move forward with the meeting. If I can get David, Deputy Director and General Counsel for Indiana Civil Rights Commission and acting legal representative for the commission. He'll go over the roles and duties of the commission.
Thank you, Chair Wilson, and good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is David Fleischhacker, and I'm the Deputy Director and General Counsel for the Indiana Civil Rights Commission. I'm here before you today mainly because my boss is the chair of the commission. And help you guys out. But today I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of the commission's enabling statute with a focus on the duties of the commission. And it's important to review this information on a regular basis, just as a refresher and a reminder as to why this commission was created and what it's intended to accomplish. So the commission is a statutory creation. The origins of this commission on supplier diversity can be traced to Public Law 34-1983, which is codified at Indiana Code 4-13-16.5. This legislation established the commission and its membership, and they're tasked with advocating for minority and women's business enterprises, as well as veteran-owned small businesses to provide equal opportunities in the state's procurement and contracting process. Now, this commission's membership consists of 18 individuals and includes an assortment of staff. There's a governor's designee who serves as the chair of the commission, the commissioner of the Indiana Department of Transportation, or the economic opportunity director of the Indiana Department of Transportation, if so designated, the chair of the board of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, or their designee, the commissioner of DOA. There are 9 individuals with demonstrated capabilities in business and industry who are appointed by the governor. And they are separated into 3 geographical areas, 3 from the northern third of the state, 3 from central, and 3 from the southern third of the state. There are 2 members from the House of Representatives, no more than 1 from the same political party, who serve in a non-voting advisory capacity. 2 members from the Senate, again, not from the same political party, who serve in non-voting advisory capacity, and the Deputy Commissioner of Supplier Diversity, who serves in a non-voting capacity. Now, the duties of the commission enumerated at Indiana Code 413-16.5-2F include a number of tasks, and they can be kind of distilled and grouped into 3 kind of areas. There's an identify and promote area, and establish goals and evaluate. And DOA has also adopted rules under 25 IAC 5 related to minority business enterprises and women business enterprises, which was readopted just in 2021. And then under 25 IAC 9 related to veteran-owned small businesses, which was adopted in 2020. So those rules add to the statutory guidelines for this commission. Now, under the identify and promote area, the statute has kind of 5 duties that the commission is focused on in this area. And those first 5 kind of relate all to this identify and promote. And they speak to identifying and assessing the needs of minority business enterprises, women business enterprises, and the veteran-owned small businesses. And then also initiating programs that assist those entities and promoting the state procurement procedures and solicitation opportunities. So that's kind of those 5 that speak to identifying and promoting. There are 3 statutory duties that relate to establishing goals. And these speak to kind of defining the goals and objectives of the deputy commissioner within the supplier diversity area to assure statewide compliance concerning awarding of contracts, and then establishing annual goals for the procurement of these entities, which is derived from a statistical analysis outlined and updated every 5 years. Additionally, under the administrative code, the commission's goals are to be updated annually and applied to the state's various forms of procurement. And then the commission, upon approval from the DOA, may set specific diversity goals that conform to the regulatory requirements. Those are kind of the established goals, statutory duties that exist. And then finally, there's the evaluate area. And there are 4 statutory duties of the commission that focus on the evaluating various aspects of the supplier diversity program. These look at evaluating competitive differences between comparable business enterprises, preparing a summary evaluating the policies and other programs, ensuring that those statistical analyses adhere to the kind of the process that's been laid out in the Richmond v. Croson U.S. Supreme Court case, and also evaluating kind of the annual goals of veterans-owned state business or small businesses established by the supplier diversity legislation. So those kind of cover the various statutory duties related to the evaluate piece for the commission. And then finally, in 2020, under Public Law 15-2020, under House Enrolled Act 1081, the General Assembly expanded the commission's role to include veteran-owned small businesses that added it to the existing minority and women's business enterprises. And that added a number of amendments to the Indiana Code related to this particular commission, added a number of new and revised definitions, expanded the scope of the commission's responsibilities, added some development of policies to encourage and facilitate procurement opportunities for veteran-owned small businesses, and then tasked the Department of Administration to adopt rules, which I previously mentioned, to increase contracting opportunities for those veteran-owned small businesses with a goal to procure in each fiscal year at least 3% of state contracts for those entities. So that's I mentioned it was going to be a brief overview of the statute and focus mainly on the duties. But Chair Wilson thought that it was important, especially with the first meeting of the commission, for us to kind of review those, refresh those. This is what the commission is here to do and to focus on. So with that.
Any commissioners have questions for David?
I have a question, Greg.
Please.
David, if we don't have a quorum, we've had a couple meetings in a row where we haven't had a quorum, how will we go about adopting goals this year?
Encourage your commissioners to be
Yeah.
present.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to follow up to figure out how we can make this quorum happen. We can't move forward until we get a quorum here. So we'll be getting some information out to our commissioners because we have to do the business of the commission.
So June, we're still okay if we vote on those in the June meeting?
Yeah, we can still vote on them, yes. And if we have to, we can have a special meeting. We can call a special meeting to vote on those things as well. But you're right, we have to get those voted on. Anybody else have questions for David? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, with that, again, I want to thank everybody who's turned out. We tend to always have a great turnout, and I appreciate you all taking your time. I know we have the universities, so I turn it over to Keisha. I know we have the universities here. I want to again thank you, the representatives of those universities, for coming here and working with us as we try to move the goalpost further down. I want to make sure that after the meeting that if you hear the one thing about those representatives that from those different schools, they don't leave. They're here. Take time to talk to them, or if you need to talk to somebody at the on the commission panel, just stop them and talk to them. Catch me before I leave, because I'm running to another meeting after this, but I'm here for a few if you have questions. So with that, I'll turn it over to Keisha.
Thanks, Chairman. So at your request, we now have 4 vendors who were selected to give their capability statement before the commission and those interested parties in the audience. So we will go first with Image 360.
Yeah, and while they're coming up, I will say this, some of those who have presented at the commission meetings, some have gotten opportunities because they were able to present and explain what their companies do. So I think it is a great opportunity that's been created here. Please.
And as a reminder, for each of the presenters, you will be given 4 minutes. And Graham will let you know when you've reached your minute mark, 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman and commissioners and.
Is your mic on? Pull it a little
Hello.
bit closer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it better? Okay. And thank you, Graham, for inviting us to this event. I am here to represent Image 360 Indianapolis Northwest. We are a minority certified business by the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. We've been in business for about close to 11 years, and we're a staff of 4, I and my wife, and we have 2 designers on staff. So at Image 360, we believe the possibilities of visual communication are endless. And what we try to do is we try to bring clients' ideas to life by printing them on different kinds of substrates, which clients usually use for their advertising, for promoting their own businesses, etc. And as a full service signage and graphics vendor, we don't want to just meet your visual marketing needs, but we want to surpass them for sure. And we have designers on staff who actually work with our clients to design logos and layouts ground up, or to take the clients' designs and print them on different types of media. And we also work on a very consultative mode. We advise our clients on how to use different types of media for their creation. And we advise them what kind of media they should use and also the different price points. That's what makes them comfortable. And the signage is a pretty rapidly evolving industry. So we have to stay up to date on printing equipment, on production equipment, on installation procedures. So we do that on a regular basis. We have now added a flatbed printer, basically, which allows us to print directly on different substrates instead of printing on vinyl and then trying to apply it on a substrate. We also have invested in a CNC router, which helps us create dimensional letters that you see that are installed either on outside building surfaces or on interior walls. And who can utilize our services as a signage company? Anyone who's opening a new business, who's leasing or owning a shop or office space, they can use our services. Anyone who has a booth at a trade show, anybody who's got a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20 space, they can use us for creating different types of signs for their booths. Anyone who has a fleet of vehicles that they want to use for advertising their business, they can use us for their needs. And we also work with general contractors and bid on construction projects, be it with the city or with a private owner. And we specialize in doing ADA signs, monument signs, and different types of construction signage. Who do we currently work with in the government? We have had the opportunity to work with Indigo, with the Indianapolis Public Library. And we also worked on a part of the Community Justice Center project as a sub with Acom Hunt, who's a general contractor or construction manager. And as far as the universities are concerned, we've been trying to get a foot in the door with all these universities listed here. We finally started working with Ivy Tech recently, about 5-6 months ago. We started engaging on a couple of their projects. and hoping that we'll get more opportunities with the remaining universities that are listed here. And that's all I had for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner? Commissioner?
Do you
Rosetta.
perform the installation of the sign-in?
Yes, we do.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And Image 360 is a certified MBE with the Division of Supplier Diversity. Next up, we have Julie Sanchez with Expert Business Solutions, LLC. She is certified as a minority and a woman-owned business.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
In times like these, everyone could use a strong partner. These past few years have disrupted the landscape of people's lives across the world. We have faced unprecedented challenges from COVID-19, social unrest, and increasing economic pressure. These challenges have exacerbated the ongoing struggles faced by underestimated populations. Here in America, we find ourselves with growing polarized groups, some seeking greater awareness of racial equity and diversity, while others resistant and deeply angered by these changes. Someone once said, "Can't we all just get along?" These are challenging times, but they present so many opportunities for greater solutions. Expert Business Solutions is an executive coaching and leadership training company that provides safe, healing spaces for Black professional women and leaders to navigate racism, create their narrative, develop innovative strategies, and respond from a place of power instead of injury. As a Black woman living in America, I have evolved from believing I can handle anything because I'm a strong Black woman, to now understanding that my value isn't based on the weight of my load of social injustices, but on my intrinsic God-given value. From that point, from that person of love and kindness that I know myself to be, I now wield my power to respond to challenges in a way that honors who I am and honors others. This is the basis on which I formed the company, Expert Business Solutions. EBS offers one-on-one leadership and group coaching opportunities. At EBS, we believe that you are the expert in your life and we are the expert of the coaching process. Coaching will always move you forward in your endeavors. It's not therapy, it's not mentoring, it's not advisement, it's empowerment. We facilitate team building, give workshops, do speaking engagements, work with organizations on creating strategies to bring polarizing groups together. Our coaching services would be a wonderful way to invest in Black graduating students, alumni, and high potential leaders, C-suite within your organizations. I'm currently working with the Fort Wayne Community Schools, newly formed diversity, equity, and inclusion team, providing them with personal assessments, workshops, strategic planning meetings, and monthly team building sessions. The goal is to keep them fortified and unified as they do their important work. Next month, Expert Business Solutions is launching a platform, Real Talk, for Black women. It's created exclusively for Black professional women as a safe, healing space for discussion, affirmation, and support. It's easy to allow the distractions of our times to lead us away from the solutions that lie ahead. In times like these, Expert Business Solution is a strong partner. I invite you to partner with us as we build a bridge for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner? Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Next up, we have Jeremy Miller with Lionfish Cyber Holdings LLC. Lionfish is certified as an Indiana veteran-owned small business with the Division of Supplier Diversity.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. My name's Jeremy Miller. I am a prior Army Green Beret. Spent some time in Afghanistan, Somalia, and some other places. I want to share with you today, a lot of you hear this on the news, but make no doubt about it, we are at war in cybersecurity. We have built the first only scalable cybersecurity workforce development and implementation platform that's out there in the market. So I'm going to give you a little context. A couple of years ago, there was over 500,000 jobs that were available in cybersecurity in the United States. Today, even though colleges are pumping out 60 to 70,000 students, it's grown to 760,000. It has raised that much in the last couple of years. A lot of the jobs that the college students come out to do that are available are more management jobs. So the entry-level jobs are not quite as many for them. We get a lot of brain drain right now in Indianapolis, or Indiana rather, for the cybersecurity talent that is being pumped out because we don't necessarily have a place for them all the time. So what we have done and what we're proposing to do is, because of this issue, what we noticed is that out of the 31 million businesses in the United States, those were not going to be serviced by those jobs because those were going to enterprise and mid-sized companies on the jobs there. So we built a platform to take these students that are coming out in high school. Actually, we're working with Hamilton County right now with a cybersecurity program, but when we're starting to work with colleges as well. So they'll come out, they'll be learning on our platform actually inside those places. They'll come and do an intern or an apprenticeship so that they can actually do frontline work, helping the small businesses take care of their cyber needs. These small businesses, just to give you an idea, there's 120,000 businesses in Indiana alone. 90,000 of them, 75%, are less than 20 employees. They probably don't have an IT staff, and they're certainly not going to have somebody in cyber. Cyber is a big deal for these companies because these hackers know that they have nothing for them there, so they can just walk right in. The doors are wide open. If you think about the cyber side too, there's a big diversity push right now because we need more women, we need more diversity in there. I propose that we'd love to work with the state and local governments and help them fulfill some of their needs while working with all the universities, not just one or two, putting their students through the program, getting them helping the state and local critical infrastructures, small businesses out there. But we don't need to do all the work. We've got the platform and a scalable way to do it. We want to partner with all of these service providers in Indiana as well. They need the talent because it's getting sucked away to these bigger companies taking it. Okay, we can provide a pathway through that these students go to those companies. They start working there as an intern. They're doing frontline stuff. They might be doing policies and procedures right now. Could be installing a firewall or just some antivirus or 2MFA. Insurance companies are starting to require everybody to have a laundry list of things done in order to get cyber insurance. If you don't have it done and you get breached, then there are reasons for them to then either deny the claim or not pay the full claim. It's an issue. This is also happening with larger companies are getting cybersecurity requirements that they push down to the supply chain. These smaller companies are the supply chain units to those companies, and they have to come up with this too. There's no real clear pathway to help them right now. There is giving them free tools, but they don't know how to use them. They need help to do that. I think we could do that with the students while they're learning, and then they can go get a job. We can recycle that the whole time. But I'd like to try to keep those students here in the state to help our IT infrastructure grow as well. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Commissioners, anyone have any questions? Please.
Are you doing any partnerships with Department of Workforce Development?
So we actually are a Department of Workforce Development training school. We are a tech school with them currently. We do have a national apprenticeship program as well. So we are working with them. However, there's a whole pathway there that we still need to work that through.
Excellent.
Yes, Commissioner Bartlett.
We just passed some legislation out of the House. It's going over to the Senate now for apprenticeship dollars from the state. Would that assist you in any kind of?
It would, and I'd love to talk about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Just so everyone knows, the meeting is being live streamed. If you would like a copy of the meeting afterwards, for your staff or for yourself, it will live on our YouTube page. Is that correct, Graham? Okay. And we can get that information to you, but it is being recorded, it is live streamed. Commissioner Dunnigan, I'm sorry, Commissioner Kubaki, do we have you on the phone? Okay. Okay, we'll take a brief pause really quickly. Lastly, we have Tyrell Giles with Quest Staffing. Quest Staffing is a certified MBE with the Division of Supplier Diversity.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Chair, for inviting me here. Thank you, State Rep, for being in attendance. I'm glad to be here. Really excited about our business. It's been growing. I am the owner of Quest Staffing and Quest DBA, Quest Event Management. Quest Staffing was established in 2016. We are a minority, 100% minority-owned business. We are certified by the state of Indiana, by the city of Indianapolis, and we're also certified by the Mid-States Diversity Supplier Council. Here today, I really want to, the staffing company was started in 2016, but we started the event service in 2021. And so today I really want to talk about and highlight the services of our Quest Event Management. This company, we started this company in 2021. We got our security license here in the state because we are really feeling a need. There was some company mergers and power vacuum happened, and there's a lack of a local experience option to be a host for this great city we have as we serve, we host so many great events across this country here in Indianapolis. And so we're filling that need with Hoosiers. I've been so honored. In the back there, I have my two of my directors, Angelo Guerrera and Jared Mazingo. I also have my general manager, Gary Mott. Those three gentlemen together combined have over 50 years of experience working for large events. We are ready to provide those concierge services, ushers, ticket takers, the security folks, access control, all of those things. We have hit the ground running in 21 when we got our license. We partnered with some other organizations just to get our foot in the door. And so we did the NCAA big national championship game. We've done, was involved in all of that in a partnership arrangement. But on our own, we've been able to work with the Kentucky Derby, the Indianapolis 500. We were down in Nashville doing the New Year's Eve show. We did the Indy Pride. We do a lot of work in the Indiana Convention Center. We are the only minority owned company that is on the pre-qualified list to work in the Indiana Convention Center. Right now, I'm just so excited, pumped up. We need an opportunity. And so I'm excited to see that there's universities here. They have large arenas. I have the staff. We've been able to recruit 150 people. And another thing that I know Representative Bartlett, you're gonna be proud to hear. When we started in 21, many of the folks that were working for us with our competitors were making 11 to 12 bucks an hour. I believe in a livable wage. We increased that wage to $15 an hour and staying competitive. So we're here to serve. We're ready to go, and I have some handouts, and we're just looking forward to meeting people. Thank you so much for having us. And if you have any questions,
Well, thank you again for the excitement. Can y'all tell he's excited? I got excited in the presentation. Any other commissioners have any questions, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
And I know Terrell well, but he started talking. I don't have an event coming up, and I was ready to hire him.
I was too.
I really got some big guys behind me.
The energy that you're putting out was tremendous. And like I said, I was like, man, I don't have anything for you right now, but if I did, you would have the job. But no, great. So anyway, thanks for the presentation. And again, everybody who's presented, make sure you talk to the universities. They're looking for those who can provide a service that they need. As They're not gonna just create service, but they might though after your talk, but they're looking for that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Graham, can we do roll call, please?
Good afternoon once more. So roll call, Representative John Bartlett,
Present.
Senator Stacy Donato, Commissioner Alan Dunnigan, Commissioner Dr. Rebecca Huerta, Commissioner Christine Jeffers,
Here.
Commissioner Elizabeth Kiefner Crawford,
Here.
Representative Joanna King, Commissioner Rebecca Kubaki, Commissioner Ramo Mazetta, Deputy Commissioner Keisha Rich,
Present.
Senator Greg Taylor, Commissioner Francis Vega Steele,
Here.
Chairman Gregory Wilson.
Here.
We do have quorum.
Thank you so much. So we do have an established quorum.
We do.
Yes. Go ahead. Can we get a motion to adopt the minutes?
I so move.
Who's second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, then we have the adoption of the governor's report. Can I get a motion to adopt that report?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, we almost forgot about you. Motion carries.
Okay, now we will hear from representatives from each of the state educational institutions. First up, we have Dylan Garver with Indiana State University.
Hopefully y'all brought plenty of cards because it sounds like everybody's going to be waiting after the meeting to meet up with you.
As a reminder to the state educational reps, you have 3 minutes. Graham will give you your 1-minute warning.
I'm actually looking really forward to having some of the enthusiasm later. So because we can certainly use it, especially our fourth quarter was down, especially in our MBE categories that we did have. That has been one of our larger struggles that we did have, as well as in general the construction sector as well. Of course, Indiana State University has had fewer construction opportunities, but we do have a large one that is coming up. As far as products and supplies that we do have coming up, we do still have opportunities, especially in services. We have multiple different service contracts in the realms of facilities, IT, and also marketing that are going to be coming up at the end of our fiscal year, June 30th. And so we're right now starting to take bids for those as well. And supplies, of course, we always are looking for additional suppliers for products, especially in the realms of facilities and also other general goods such as office products and other higher dollar spends that we do have. So some of the additional improvements that we have made at Indiana State University and that we're still working toward, we did currently update our supplier catalog, and it actually takes into consideration the IDOA's list of approved suppliers. And we're actually starting to work on a function that allows all the administrative assistants to be able to search for those as well. Additionally, with training and other awareness activities that we have been working on, we have done a retrain of buyers as far as making sure that we are looking at the entire scope of what IDOA is offering as far as approved suppliers in certain commodities that we are bidding out. And additionally to that, all of our pro card holders and our administrative assistants that are putting in requisitions, making sure that they are aware where they can look for those MBE, WBE, or IBOSB vendors on our website as well. Of course, the IDOAs as well, but typically it's easier for them to go on our current website that we do have. Upcoming events that we do have. So we are going to be, I will be here next week for the Indiana Department of Transportation diversity event. As well as those, we do have a couple others that we are working on, and I'm actually currently working with my boss to see if we can host one ourselves at Indiana State University later on this year. That's our update.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, you have questions?
Well, I don't have
question, but I'm disappointed. Point, I'm reading this right.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, that's.
91%.
That's correct. Our fourth quarter was probably since I've been here so far was the worst one that we have had so far. And so a lot of our spends that we did have over the last quarter, obviously we had a shortened time period because we did have holiday breaks and that sort of thing as well. But a lot of the spends that we did have, specifically in facilities, we did have several large ones before the end of the year to actually start working on some of their winter break items and maintenance that they currently do. Unfortunately, some of those, specifically in supplies and in professional services, we don't have the scope and the breadth of those suppliers that we have been actively sourcing to. And so it's not necessarily that we're not sourcing or actively trying to get people that we have been working with in the past, but we probably are lacking in suppliers that we have done business with previously that we can just go directly to and say, hey, this is what we're going to need for those periods. And a lot of it had more to do with electrical and plumbing on the facility side. And there were some others, but those are the two major ones that come to mind.
When you say your event, you're gonna be hosting your event?
So I'm actually working currently right now to see if we can get it tied down, but I would expect it's probably going to be before the summer break is concluded. And so, because typically that works a lot better for campus as far as parking and that type of thing is concerned. August, and so, like I said, I need to get the date actually tied down.
And you'll share that information with
absolutely.
Keisha so she can share it with.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Next up, we have Brandon Gaston with Purdue University.
No commission.
Good afternoon,
Thank you,
Brandon.
Thank you for that energy too, Mr. Giles. Yes, appreciate that. Just to take a few minutes to discuss initiatives taken in the previous quarter to meet the goals. In this quarter, we participated in several events to increase engagement with diverse businesses, as well as hosting a signature event on campus to bring in diverse businesses and connect them with departments at the university. The reset of the Relationships to Partnerships event was held in person on campus for the first time since the onset of the pandemic. This event gave diverse businesses a chance to learn about services offered by the state and other agencies to help grow their businesses, as well as make connections within the university for potential business opportunities in the future. We also attended other pre-bid meetings for the projects Ross Age Stadium and Mackey Arena renovations to assist with some connections for contractors there. Also would like to note some outreach events that we took to increase with diversity. The American Council on Engineering Companies, ACEC, their yearly diversity networking fair. The fair held here, the IDOA Business Expo for certified minority women and veteran businesses. We also participated with the Business Equity for Indy, their quarterly events highlighting Indy area Black-owned businesses and Black and Brown-owned businesses. And the Indiana Educational Institutions call, we participated in that with all of the SEIs participated with to answer questions with a diverse community about upcoming projects and bid opportunities at our university and theirs. And the last event to highlight the Eli Lilly Social Justice event, uniting corporate and community stakeholders to improve business outcomes and racial outcomes with emphasis on impacts to supplier diversity as well. Lastly, as a reminder, Purdue E-Plan Room is also a good resource for companies looking at major projects in the construction space. Most of those projects, we have some projects coming up right now. Most of those projects on the slate for future, slated at less than $2 million value, just as a note. And then lastly, I was noted by Mr. Graham from the IDOA to bring up a point from our last meeting from Commissioner Kubaki, asked the question about do we follow up with minority graduate students in the professions? And do we keep in contact with them? So I wanted to highlight that Purdue University has So not the Office of Supplier Diversity per se, but Purdue does have other offices that focus on following up with students, minority students specifically in the businesses, engineering, and other disciplines. Thank you.
Did that answer your question, Commissioner Kavaki? That's okay. Any other questions, Commissioner?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Does your spend in here include the Mackey and Ross?
No, sir, that wouldn't be capital for this. Those projects are ongoing right now. So we'll see, probably in the next meeting, we might start seeing some of the spend folding into. So far, so good. We had some of the things we're looking on track. I think they were looking in incentivized at the 20% kind of level, but so far, so good. Things are looking on track, and we'll just keep monitoring to see how we
And then
come
kind
out.
of the same question. Your percentage for your veterans. Yeah, 90%.
Yes.
Out of the box, maybe to achieve more.
That is something that we definitely looking at, and yeah, I think we can see what other kind of methods we can do to kind of increase there. But thank you so much for highlighting that.
Yeah, thank you. So one thing I was thinking about, and you can go to, but one thing I was thinking about, maybe the universities for your next meeting, if y'all can put together some type of cheat sheet that shows some of the opportunities that are available at your universities, so that maybe some of the, when people are here, they can take a copy of your cheat sheet. You know, it talks about the upcoming, some of your large projects coming up, or some of your routine services that are needed. I think that could be very helpful. I found it helpful in the past. So I would appreciate that. Thank you. Keisha.
All right, next up, we have Marcus Bickle with Ivy Tech Community College.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Everybody's doing okay? This commission meeting, we were asked to kind of go over some of the outreach efforts that we had in the last quarter. One of our biggest ones is Keisha was part of. We are getting ready to do a construction project at our East Chicago campus, and we did a rollout event. Now, it's supposed to be in person, but we ended up having to turn it virtual the week of. At that meeting, our VP of Facilities went over some of what we are hoping will be our upcoming projects. And then also went over this East Chicago project. And then in addition, we are doing we have a partnership agreement with the Indiana Construction Roundtable on their mentor project program. So the Indiana Construction Roundtable also helped create a networking event. Again, it was virtual. So good participation, not exactly what we were hoping for, but we are also doing that event again in East Chicago in April. And at that event, it will be kind of a similar situation. I think it's going to be about 3 hours in total. Ivy Tech will present for about 45 minutes on our projects, including obviously keying in on the East Chicago project. But then there will be about 2 hours that the Indiana Construction Roundtable will put on a matchmaking event for minority, majority firms to interact with each other, get to know different services that they all provide, and hopefully create some interactions there. So that's one of the big things that we have coming up. And as you all probably heard me talk about before, so I'm going to go over. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll just do this. Our Fort Wayne campus, our diversity, equity, belonging lead is teaming with Northeast Indiana Innovation Collective and the Indiana Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and putting on a 6-part workshop throughout the course of the year. I'll probably be talking to you about that shortly. And then our Muncie campus is co-sponsored, provided space worked with Muncie Chamber of Commerce on a certification workshop series there as well. And one of the things I just learned is all of our campuses provide updates twice a year to our president and, kind of the state of the campus. We are adding a slide to all of those presentations now specifically for that campus to provide what their diverse spend is. So we will we all have that information, but obviously what we provide to the commission is an aggregate. So talk specifically to campuses. And then, well, this is not a spend necessarily, but our Indianapolis campus just brought on a couple of new in-house food vendors, and one of them is the Tees Meat Cafe, which is to meet the kitchen. So, like I said, we may not be spending a ton, but hopefully students as well as faculty and staff will be. So, those are some of the big ones that have happened in the past quarter. Yeah, going forward, like I said, April 14th, we'll have the Chicago event. We'll be attending the Department of Transportation Minneapolis Airport Authority event on Tuesday that my colleagues have referenced. And then continuation again of the Fort Wayne and Muncie series, as well as Roger graciously sets us up on his chat quarter as well. So.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
I have a question on these events, like the one in April. Is that open to everyone or is that invite only?
It's open there. Yes, the one in Noblesville we posted on our bonfire web page, but I believe I can't remember all of the places that it got posted, but I think it got posted with IDOA, it got posted with several, and I'm sure this one, when everything's finalized, will be posted as well.
Keisha, we make sure that the commissioners get a copy of their events things. I definitely like to keep. You say you're doing one in East Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah, because when I'm making some of my trips, I like to maybe stop by one and see how it goes.
Yeah, and this one again, the one we had that Keisha was part of that ended up being virtual was at our Noblesville campus, but it was for our East Chicago project. This one will also be for the East Chicago project.
Excellent.
I think it's like about $11 million renovation, so that's going to start rolling out in August.
$11 million is good money.
$11 million,
All right.
and yeah, bids are going to start rolling out sometime in December. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. No, it was not a question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next, we have Jeff with the University of Southern Indiana.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
James Long with the University of Southern Indiana down in Evansville, Indiana. Some of the initiatives we worked on, one of the ones I wanted to kind of highlight, it's not necessarily our direct initiative, but we're working with the Evansville Regional Economic Partnership. They brought in a consulting firm this past quarter to work specifically on developing an MBE program for Evansville. It's going to have 3 pillars that are going by. They call it the 3 M's. It's make sure I get this correct. It's management, education, money, and then market access. So the university is committed to 2 of the 3 M's. The management education, our college business is working on developing a program to help educate these startup businesses. And then the 3rd pillar, the market access, our procurement department is committed to try to work with these vendors. As part of the program, they're going to go through the certification with the state as well. So one thing that I really asked them was to focus on the construction area, because that's always been an area where we struggle. If you look at our numbers, we're almost 0 on MBE. So I told them, I was like, if you can get construction, our numbers will really improve because we're good in supplies and professional services. So I'm excited. It is just starting, so it's going to take some time. They don't really have a time frame on. We have committed to it, so next year. Some of the other items, we attended the B2B event and the Ball State Diversity Chat. We also hired a new buyer, and we're getting her trained on helping us with our supplier diversity as well. And then finally, I've been working with the National Association of Education Procurement, and we're working on some supplier diversity initiatives for our conference coming up. And well, it was going to be September, but I found out yesterday the hotel double booked. So we're reworking that, but it'll be later in the year. So that's my presentation.
Thank you, commissioners.
I have a comment that your numbers are doing pretty good. Across the board, so
That's what I think. We can get that construction.
I like the education piece too. It helps build the pipeline.
Yes,
It's really great.
it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Please let us know what DSC can do to help with the Evansville MDE certification. Of course.
She asked.
Ask and you receive.
All right, up next, we have Michael Morrison with the Vincennes University.
Afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon, everybody. It seems like we were just here. That happened? Okay. Our numbers slipped a little from last reporting, but not too much. I had a veteran-owned agreement that they did not renew he didn't get to renew his application, so I had to move that spend, and that's a contract I did back in March of last year, I think. So I've got another 10,000 that I won't be able to count also. You guys know me, most of my time spent around the university educating people and trying to look for relationships we can build. Believe it or not, we still own and operate our bookstore, and I met with the chain of command over there and introduced some of the XBEs that support me on my side, and they've started using them, so we're gaining extra spend from our bookstore. All that spend doesn't come through my office, but I can obtain the history. I started working early on our service contracts. We're all on a fiscal year, so our fiscal year starts 7/1, but I started early this year because once we get an XBE in the doors, a lot of times I look to expand current relationships, or it gives me opportunity to find out what we're doing and where I can bring on an XBE to at least quote. We've got some bids that are coming in recently, and I've looked through them, and we've got solid XBE participation. Sometimes it just comes down to a pricing issue. That's all I have.
Commissioners, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Roger with Ball State.
Roger.
how are you? Good afternoon, everyone. For remote, you mentioned the percentages. They're not where we want them. They're still not where we want them, but I'll tell you they're where we're at.
Never there.
So we are there. We are there. So my team has been evaluating our current strategies. Oh, my name is Roger Hasensall. I'm the Director of Purchasing Services at Ball State University. My team has been evaluating our current strategies for increasing diversity spending throughout our campus community. We need to look at new approaches and build upon our previous strategic plan. We held a roundtable for diverse businesses on Friday, the 17th, and we invited the campus departments as well as diverse businesses. And after introducing, we had the businesses stand up, diverse businesses say what they do and what their product and service is, as well as the Ball State team stand up and introduce themselves and what areas they represented and what services they were looking for. There was a lot of conversation, and I believe there's a lot of partnerships formed. So it was very beneficial, and I was very appreciative of the attendees.
We are requesting the campus departments attend our Ball State diversity chats as well as the Indiana Educational Institution chats, so that the campus community can be firsthand talking to the businesses as they're online and can start sharing information and creating and nurturing those partnerships, which is extremely important. I will be attending the IDOT diversity event held in Indianapolis Airport with the rest of the educational institutions. Looking forward to finding partnerships there as well with diverse businesses. We are planning a diversity vendor fair for the end of September or middle of October. We will not just have the vendor set up. We will reach out to the campus community and press hard for departments to set up there as well. So it's not just departments coming through and diverse supplier hoping that they'll stop at their table and have a conversation. We'll also have the opportunity for them to approach the campus community as well. We will continue to push hard and behind the scenes. We're doing well, not well, but okay in supplies and areas where we're continuing to see our percentages hit is in the construction area. So we're heavily focused in analyzing, and we'll continue, if I have to continue to knock on every door and walk in every department in that campus, we will make a difference. That's where we're at.
Thank you. I know I do attend some of your meetings that you have online. I think I was at your last meeting. And listen, I know you are trying. Again, I asked that in a previous meeting that if you do have buyers or others, that they could watch us live stream and kind of listen to what goes on in the commission meeting. Well, now the fact that this live stream will be available, even if they weren't able to listen live, I would ask or encourage those who are here, representatives of the university, to share the links with those individuals to see if they take a look so they can kind of listen and understand what happens here at the commission meetings and be more supportive of you and your undertaking. So thank you, Hank.
Thank you.
You do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Next up, we have Richard Wise with Indiana University. Commissioners, at your tables, you all have a presentation that Richard is going to speak to. He is aware that he only has 3 minutes. So he promised it will not take any more than 3 minutes.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you.
Very much. I'll jump right into this. Much of this quarter has been focused on outreach and outreach. I want to cover some of the activities that we've been doing in this quarter. I'll start with 2 examples of inReach. And inReach is our internal marketing efforts to try to raise awareness about the program. So we have what's called a recorded interview. It's called Spotlight on Supply Diversity. We interviewed a veteran-owned company, Express Employment. That was done in October. That's an inReach example. The next one is I want to continue to focus and raise emphasis on our diverse supplier search tool. We're up to around 1,458 utilizations of that. That tool is directly linked to the state's 1,600 plus diverse suppliers. And so we've been tracking that. We're getting a lot of good activity on that. The big one that I want to focus on is our big School of Medicine Academic Health Center. We had an outreach event in October, which was the 3rd outreach event. It was for package 3. This is a large construction project. It's probably the largest one for a long time. It's $140+ million. It is a CMC project, and because it's a CMC, unfortunately, the majority of the diversity spend is going to be below Tier 2. So we recognize that very early on, have been strategizing about how we can make that better. Also into the state, as Keisha knows, to enable us to tell the whole story about the participation on this project. In exchange for that, we have come up with a strategy to employ making sure that all the diverse suppliers, regardless of what level they're participating in, will be paid time. We participated in the showcase back in October. State put on, happy for that. We're a big partner with Business Equity for Indy. We have participated in this quarter over 10 events with that event program. We're a partner in that as well. This State's Minority Supply Development Council, we are a board member and national and local member of the council. We participate on 8 outreach events. And obviously, SEIs are big events that are sharing events that we did 2 of in October. We participated in that. And then also we did an individual outreach event back on the east side of town. MBE Frontrunner Media. Last outreach event is with JP Morgan Chase. They do a big thing with high. On the forecast for you, some updates that we'll be presenting on for this next quarter that we're currently in. Right now, we're going to be expanding our supply diversity and by Indiana expectations in all of our public state posts.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioners, any questions?
I have one.
Go ahead. Ray.
What are you getting on your kind of percentage outcomes on the school of medicine?
Right now, so the goal, the overarching goal is 20%. They're tracking right at that right now. 13% right now on the veteran side. We're not doing as well as I had expected on the ME column as well as the WP column. We're tracking right now.
3%.
What about professional service?
Professional services, the majority of that, well, it's going to depend on this. Most of it is in construction work. The professional services is going to be the overall management of the project. The component of the CMC is basically serving as that.
I understand. What about the, as far as the contract team or any of those minority or women business?
When you say contract team?
Yeah, those who are planning and the architects, the various part of the team.
Okay, so a good question on that. That's not part of the scope of this particular effort. That took place prior to this.
No, I understand. And it wasn't direct just at you, but tends to be the problem with all these large projects. I'm just saying that it tends to be on that piece because it's already done. So there's no real participation from minority women veterans. I've been doing this for 30 years, probably, maybe more, but all around the country. And that tends to be the biggest problem that a lot of people don't understand is that the impact is at the beginning of the process when those teams are put together and you don't have the real large scale opportunities for the participation. I know there's participation at the lower end, but when it comes to the top where people want to be a part of the real opportunities, and I just ask all of you to think about that and have those discussions as you go back to your universities or anybody who's listening. People want opportunity at the top part where the real financial opportunity exists. But anyway, that's just an overall thought process for me. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I worked with Richard years ago. He's passionate about what he does, but for me, that's just something I'm always going to be mindful of until I ride my horse, which I do have a horse, off into the sunset of retirement. But it'll always be something that I'm very passionate about, is breaking that barrier that people don't understand. That's where minority women and veteran-owned businesses want to be at, and not just at this level right here. Thank you, Richard. Oh, go ahead.
To your point, Greg, we certainly have some very heightened interest within the architect engineering. I was copied on email, but it's a string of comments about not getting enough. The easiness, we need help with that. And we had one meeting last week. We have one scheduled for this week with that group. And I'm pretty excited about it because you think I'm passionate, you should have read some of the emails.
Well, I know you, Pastor. I worked with you from the days when I was probably 20-some years old. That tell you how long? That's been a long time ago. Yeah. So, Commissioner Bartlett.
You know, to Chairman Wilson's point, at the beginning, those folk who come in, they have relationships with folk, and that's generally where the contracts go. So if you could break it at the top, at the beginning, and start bringing MBEs, XBEs in from the beginning, then you kind of break some of those relationship cycles there. And the second comment I'd like to make for all the universities, if you're in business to educate folk, then how come it's so hard to educate your staff on getting this done? Thank you.
Thank you. Richard, thank you. I thank all of the universities. Again, we appreciate that you're trying to do the work at your level, but it's still a lot of work at that top level to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Commissioner Elizabeth Keepner Crawford to give an update on the NDOT DBE program.
Thank you. You can go ahead to the next slide. Next slide, please, Graham. So some of our SEIs have already alluded to this, but NDOT is really proud to be hosting a DBE forum next week on Tuesday. And it will be at the Indianapolis Airport from 9 until 1. And we've sent that information to Keisha and her team as well. This is really a direct response to our surveys that we give every year for needs assessments. The number one need for DBEs is really networking. And so we really have tried to engage prime contractors, both in construction and in consulting. Remo, don't you worry, we didn't forget the consultants, right? So there's a really good mix of prime contractors in construction and consulting. And the folks that are going to be in the room are the people that are putting estimates together. So we tried to really engage those folks to say, you're the people that are making the decision at bid time. You need to meet with the DBEs to understand what their capabilities are.
Thank you.
So that's happening next week on Tuesday. I'm really proud to say that we had 26 tables. They are all sold out, all prime contractors, and we have a wait list. So we just have a space capacity issue. This is the first event. We didn't really know what to expect. So 26 sold out tables and over 200 attendees registered for next week. So thanks for any and all support you can give for that. And I'll give you a report back next time we meet about how that went.
Thank you.
So next slide, please. We are really also proud to say, and a fantastic shout out to my team of 10 folks, is that we partnered with the Muncie Delaware Chamber of Commerce on a pilot program. And really we approached them because they have a newly recognized Black Chamber of Commerce. We wanted to be able to give an opportunity to people that are partnering in that Black Chamber of Commerce to talk about certification and what we could do to help grow the diversity spend in that area. And so we reached out to Keisha and her team, the folks at David Frederick's team at the City of Indianapolis, to try to give a multi-series event about certification and how certification can benefit and grow these businesses. And so we have just a few dates remaining. We've had 3 sessions so far, a general session, a DBE related session. Just yesterday, they had the IDOA related session, and I'm told they had 12 participants that are potential new IDOA applicants there as well. The next session will focus on the City of Indianapolis, and then we'll have a wrap-up event. So this is really a pilot and a different way to do a certification networking event for people that don't know anything about certification. We try to make it very approachable. So my certification staff has gone to each one of these events to sit down with folks that may not have the technical expertise to get in the computer system and do so to apply. They're sitting down with them and helping them to apply, making sure they're not intimidated about that process and walking them through that process, making sure they understand the steps, and then providing whatever support we can to get them through that process. So this is really a first of its kind partnership in that. And so thank you to our partnerships with our other certifiers for helping us with that. It's been very successful to date. We are tentatively looking at replicating this event in Evansville. So Jeff Spahn, I heard you, and we'll be in touch. So Evansville is a very natural choice for us simply because there's a project coming called Ohio River Crossings. So if you don't know what that is, it's a $1 billion bridge that we're building to the state of Kentucky. And there will be all kinds of opportunities there for all kinds of different work. So looking at Evansville to replicate that sometime this year. Next slide, please. So BY Roads is our workforce program. And in our workforce program, I have good news as well. So in our current BY Roads class, we have 13 students. They are all on track to graduate March 9th. Many of them are looking to be employed in the heavy highway industry. So we're thrilled with that outcome. And BY Roads Better Your Future is our pre-release program. You're going to be so happy, John. They started this week and there are 26 students in that class.
Amen.
So we are thrilled about that. And those students are ranging anywhere from 6 months to 2 years between release time. So we'll be working with them individually on what the fit is for them as far as whether they're going to heavy highway or another profession. But their hire consultant and their parole officer will help us to work through those identified barriers and hopefully get them placed in jobs. So we're thrilled with that outcome so far.
Okay. Commissioner Crawford, got a question. If we can
Yes,
go back
sir.
a minute. On the bridge,
Yeah.
where exactly is that located?
So I can't tell you, I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you the preferred route. I just know it's going from Evansville to Owensboro. Thank
Okay,
you.
so that's on 41?
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
But there's a multi-phase project there. There are several projects all at once because they'll improve the traffic flow there at 41 and other areas right around there as well at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Kentucky is starting their phase first. So they're in the design build process currently, and then Indiana will start next year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So next slide, please. There are certification metrics, still plenty of time. We get certified very quickly in the state of Indiana. I was telling Chris as we started today, there has been no letdown certification applications, and I'm sure that you all are feeling that too at IDOA. So there is no lull. There are lots of folks coming in to be certified. They may not all be heavy highway professionals, but they're people that have opportunities for business in the state of Indiana. So there are our certification metrics. And then I don't think they have, last slide is just the thank you slide, right, Graham?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, one thing I promised, and thank you for the reminder, Graham. I did bring brochures about our external workforce programs, and so please feel free to take one of those. I'll put some in the audience as well. And looking forward to seeing everybody next week at our forum. So if you have any questions, I'm here and I'll be here afterwards, or I have some staff in the back as well. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions, Commissioner? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes.
Bartlett.
I truly applaud the deal with the DLC. So do you have employers listed for those folks to go to work?
So what's going to happen is that's a partnership with the Hire Program, DOC, and the Indiana Construction Roundtable Foundation. We're working with both those partners to put together a webinar about the barriers that people coming out of DOC face so that employers can be educated and then plug them into partners. DOC and Hire already have an identified list of contractors and heavy highway construction personnel they already work with. Okay. And we're just looking to bring more of those employers to the fold and educate them about the opportunity for success for these clients.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'd just like to make a comment. In the past, I was a DBE, part of a DBE, and a lot of people don't know what benefits DBE certification does to you outside of road work. You can work at the airport, you can get AC DBE, right?
That's right.
Which is the whole retail consortium. You can get a job at an airport in Hawaii. So there's a lot of opportunity. You're not a DBE. Highly recommend.
So thank you, Remo. So DBE really is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. It is really an umbrella program for the U.S. Department of Transportation, which is the Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit, and then Federal Aviation. So any of those dollars that are being used can be used with the DBE certification. And we also have reciprocity, of course, with IDOA and the City of Indianapolis. So.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Thank you. And then up next, we have Commissioner Christine Jeffers with IEDC and the Resources and Initiatives Report.
Thank you again for having me. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to go quickly. I want to focus a little bit about IEDC and maybe some incentives or some programs that we have that you may not be aware of for small businesses. So hopefully you find of interest. If not, all our contact information, so contact us afterward. First, I'm going to go through PTAC real quick. I know Ivy Tech mentioned it earlier. We're working with them on a series of events in Fort Wayne, but PTAC helps businesses, small businesses work to get federal contracts. And so we work really hard with the Department of Defense, of course, because we're trying to triple defense spend in the state of Indiana per Governor Holcomb's goal for us. Been working really hard on that, but we also work with all federal agencies. So not transportation dollars, but if you think of Department of Interior, there's another slide that'll show you our top 5. But this is kind of a snapshot of our metrics from 2022. IEDC just did our annual report, and this is our annual metrics, if you will, that we report on. So you can see that $446 million in federal contracts for our small businesses. That sounds like a lot, but Indiana in total, it was around 800 million for small businesses. However, the federal government did 146 billion. So when you think of it that way, there's a lot of space for us to grow in that space. So it sounds like a lot, but it's not when you look at the big picture. Next slide, please. Some of our client demographics, really been pleased with women-owned businesses. Typically, the demographic of businesses that we use, they've already gotten state certified and they're moving into the federal process. Not that it's a requirement that you start at local, state, or go up to federal, but the increase in women-owned businesses that we're dealing with or working with is really quite exciting. And in the top 5 federal agencies that we work with, obviously Department of Defense is number 1. Department of Veteran Affairs, we have the hospital here in Indianapolis and other locations. NASA's moved up, continuously moves up in the spots throughout the state of Indiana. Next slide. And this is just our coverage areas. We're going to be adding one more region in Southern Indiana this year. Please reach out to them. All their events are on the PTAC website. They have events at least twice, 2 or 3 a month. We had a SOCOM, I think Jeremy was at the SOCOM Softworks event that we had, where we're trying to match the companies with the actual program offices so that they can potentially get contracts. There's also Buy Indiana at Crane coming up in April. It's a big event. If you want any more information, just please email me. I've got my business cards. And PTAC is free. So it is a free service. So please use them. So next slide, please. Another area I want to talk about a little bit is about InStep. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of awareness on this program, but it's for existing businesses that may want to think about exporting. And by exporting, internationally, or even going to events where there could be foreign buyers or foreign military, even foreign militaries coming to look at what services you can provide. Next slide. And so this is a little information just about the program in itself, and it's housed at IEDC. Roger Howard, his information is on the next slide, and a couple slides. He's fantastic to work with, but he's our go-to person. So we have a match, a fund, a grant, if you will, from US SBA to handle this program, but companies can, if you go to the next slide, you can see the qualifications that are required. All those are free and very easy to obtain. Obviously, the as someone mentioned earlier about the size standards, most businesses in the state of Indiana are small. They're all relative, of course. You may think you're a big business compared to Boeing and Lockheed Martin. You are not. So it's all relative, right? It's relative to the country, not to the state of Indiana. But is free resource. You can travel. Next slide, please. You can go to various export activities. You can go to different expos or conferences and actually ask for reimbursement for your travel or for your booth space. And that's something that the state of Indiana is really going to be pushing for our companies to not just sell to the state of Indiana or even just to the United States of America, but to be able to export, and we can help them get some of their funds reimbursed. And so I think the next slide is Roger Howard's. Next one's. I'm going to go quick because I know we don't have time. That's Roger Howard, and that's his contact information. And so I think the slides are all being provided. And the next slide is at the beginning, if you will, the Indiana Small Business Development Center. They're such a critical part of small businesses in the state of Indiana. That's how you get started. They help you with your business plan. They help you with your accounting plan. They help you with what's your strategic plan? Do you have a strategic plan? What's your, what is your product? What is your service? And so really none of us here and even the other programs can be successful without the start, right? A good foundation, building your business. And so I'll go through these slides quickly with them. They're located. Next slide, please. But they are through the funding of the USSBA in the state of Indiana. They help small businesses, again, do from start to the first employee to growing your business. So they're a great resource and they are free. I'm going to keep saying free because it's free. It's free. Free is good.
Free is good.
It's free money because people don't use this enough and we're free. Next slide, please. These are their metrics for their year. As I said, IEDC, we just got done doing our annual report. As you can see, they served 5,600 businesses in the state of Indiana. whether they were from startup or small that 30, or maybe we've had a lot of businesses, mom and dad may be retiring and the younger generation is taking over and they may want to take it to a different area or a different level. And so again, going back and having this creation of jobs is really important, obviously, to the economy of the state of Indiana. Next slide, please. But they do all of their advising and group training, and they have their own events on their website. And again, all free of service. And we're all very connected. So if you contact one of us, we'll get you to the person you need to in the other areas. So don't think you have to know all of us. You can just know one of us and we'll help you get to where you need to go. Next slide, please. And there's all the locations that they're located. Obviously, they're throughout the state of Indiana as well. You can go onto their website and find who exactly to contact. Next slide. I think that's just their overall contact information. But I do want to say, as an agency, the state of Indiana, we are building the economy of the future. That's been our Secretary of Chamber's motto from the beginning, from when he took over. But that means that we not just, everyone reads in the paper the big sexy stories when we get the big company coming in like Samsung or, what the $1,000 or 1,000 employees. But that's really not the brunt of what we do. The majority of businesses that we help are smaller, and they may be adding 5 employees or 10 employees, because we can't attract those big businesses without a strong base and with a strong supply chain. And Indiana has done very well compared to the rest of the nation, but it's because of companies like yours that are available. But now we just need to make sure those companies coming in can use you. So please use the resources that are available to you, whether it's NDOT or IDOA or anybody, because it's free. That's it. I'm going to say it one more time. It's free.
I love that. I mean, between you and Commissioner Crawford, a lot of energy there and a lot of great information. I don't know how many knew about what they do there. Did many of you know that? I know, and that's why we have to have you present more, because it's a lot of things going on within the state of Indiana that sometimes people don't know about. Definitely access to some opportunities. So thank you. Free. And it's free, right?
And it's free.
Okay. And I love that youth program, Commissioner Crawford. That program is going to make some big changes in some people's lives. So thank you so much for that.
All right, next slide, please. All right, good afternoon. Thank you, Chairman. Next slide, please. So for the first time in a long time, I am glad and happy to say the Division of Supplier Diversity is fully staffed. So,
oh my goodness, long time coming.
This has been a long time coming. Really quickly, can I have the Division of Supplier Diversity staff please stand up so that everyone can see that we are more than just 5 people now.
You have to feel a lot better. You were the go-to person.
Yes, and now Graham has a person. So Jada Franklin transitioned from the contract compliance team, and she is now our business development and outreach manager. So we're so excited about that. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for the.
Can you, Commissioner, can you let them introduce so we'll know a face and the name, please?
Yes, please. Jada Franklin. She's our business development and outreach manager. Jaleesa, she is our office manager. Heather Onnefield is our director of contract compliance. Graham Melendez.
Everybody know you, Graham. Trust me.
One more time. We have Eli Surgeon. Eli is our contract compliance manager. And then we have Pete Sobin. He is our certification specialist. John Marchant, he is a certification specialist. And then Rachel Stevens, she is a certification specialist. I also would like to add that on Monday, we will have a director of certification starting. She is coming to us from the City of Indianapolis office. I already spoke with David. He's not too mad at us. So we will have a director of certification. We will be fully staffed then. And so I'm really excited for the things that we now can do with the full staff. It is Debbie Chavez. She will be starting on Monday. She has onboarding on Monday and then in the office on the 27th. She's excited and I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, next slide, please. So I think everyone's familiar with the three functions of the Division of Supplier Diversity. We have our certification program, contract compliance, and business development and outreach. As of July 2021, these are the goals. So when we speak about participation and goals on state contracts or those of the state educational institutions and others who recognize the state's participation goals, these are the goals in those areas.
Just want to say, so we were going to vote on those today, but Rebecca had to leave. And so, I supported that. And so, not you. No. So anyway, what I want to say is we're going to either call a special meeting or we'll do it at our next meeting and vote on those goals, which we have to do. So thank you. Go ahead.
Then the next updates are for the team. So the certification updates, even though we were short-staffed, we have been able to keep our average days to certify at below the statutory requirement. But again, we have hired new staff. They have come in and hit the ground running. And so we're hoping to be fully caught up by the summer of this year. We're continuing to work with the IoT team in hopes to get our e-certification platform back up and running within the next couple of months. I'm really excited about that. Next slide, please. So the contract compliance updates, as you have met the new contract compliance manager, they will continue to do pay audit webinars, especially once the supplier portal opens back up. We will have to retrain individuals on how to report payments for prime vendor payments and subcontractor payments. We are really excited. We're starting a preparation meeting opportunities workshop series. You will also hear that referred to as the PMO workshop series. It will be in person. It starts in March and it will be bi-monthly and it will end in July. Please keep a lookout on our website for this workshop series. Again, it's in person right here on campus, conference room 22. As a part of the preparation meeting opportunities workshop, that kicks off our workshop series. And so the first workshop that we did have, that is one of two that kicked off our series. The first one we had was the Division of Supplier Diversity one-on-one. That was so that attendees could hear more about what it is that we do at the Division of Supplier Diversity, as well as introduce our external customers to our new team and the new business development and outreach manager, Jada Franklin. We have been intentional about our social media presence and our presence on our website and e-blasting information out. So for our commissioners and state educational institutions, our partners, please know that if there is an event that you have that you would like for us to send out, we are more than welcome to do that and able to do that. We also will post it on our website. Those are the updates for the Division of Supplier Diversity.
Thank you, Keisha. We appreciate it. One, I just want to make sure that I know sometimes the universities, if they're really working hard, I will tell you, it's not easy with the fact of what they have to do. And I appreciate that you come here and you present. And I know like I said, whenever there's an opportunity to either watch Ball State online, I try to do that. We want to be here to support you any way we can. And the questions and things that we ask or we say is really just to help you know kind of what, again, those that we represent are saying or thinking. Because I've been out there with people talking and people kind of tell me what their concerns or issues. So those are the things that we talk about. It's not just Greg Wilson making stuff up. I don't do that. But it's just trying to do things that help you understand what those businesses are going through and what they're thinking, and them getting to hear from you. So thank you again. Can we get universities a round of applause, please? And I see my friend out there. I have to acknowledge him, Mr. Jesse Moore out there. Thank you, Jesse. Good to see you. Learned a lot from Jesse. When I was younger, he was younger too, though. So I learned a lot. A lot of what I've got from him and another gentleman, Carlos Moore, helped me really kind of navigate my way through this with understanding. So again, good to see you. Keisha, what else we have?
We do not have any.
Okay, I always tell you, sign up for those public comments sometime. Gives you the last voice to say something, even if you say a pitch for you. But take advantage of that public comment. I think it's always important. Commissioners, any new business, anything that you wanted to say? Commissioner Kabaki? Oh, that's all right. We love hearing from you. Commissioner Bartlett.
Yes, I think everyone that attend these events are very serious. And the commissioners, they come and we really dedicated. And Greg pointed out Jesse Moore being here. Jesse, a lot of us learned a lot from Jesse Moore. And we won't tell you how old he is, but he's been around for a long time. But he shared a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom to a bunch of us, and we appreciate him. And we appreciate the universities taking the time to come to these meetings and present and let us know what's going on. We do want to get our numbers up. But then we're here to help any kind of way we can. So thank you.
I do want to
Of
mention
course.
one thing. I know Keisha's aware of it, but in the federal space, the veteran certification process is changing. It's changing this year. Veteran certified businesses through the federal government have to the end of the year to resubmit through certify.gov, SBA website, if you're a veteran-owned business, so you're not grandfathered in. So we'll be doing some outreach events, but if you are a veteran-owned business in the federal space or a service-disabled veteran space, please go onto the SBA website or certify.gov and see what you need to do. Because again, you don't want to, come January 1, if you're not certified in that system, they can't count you. So please, if you have questions, reach out to me or Marty Anderson, SBA. But thank you. That's one thing. I don't want to get companies lost.
No, I appreciate that. And then also, it's important to get certified too. As you know, next year, we're going to have the NBA All-Star, right? 2024 game. And there is going to be business opportunities. I don't know what, once we get more, I happen to be on that committee, one of the co-chairs on the All-Star committee. So don't ask me nothing after the meeting. And so, but I just want to let you know, they will be looking at certifications and things like that too. I don't know totally what that looks like, but I just want to give you a heads up. At some point, I'll have someone come to one of our commission meetings to talk more about that and what it looks like. But if you go look, you can see some of the, if you go back and just look at the Utah or Chicago participation, you can go to their website to the city and you can kind of see what they were doing, what type of businesses. But there's a lot of opportunities with those events. We did the Super Bowl. Some of us in here did the Super Bowl event, and there were a lot of opportunities. But we want to make sure it's realistic opportunities and that we don't give people hopes and that opportunity doesn't exist.
Okay.
Right. Any other thing? No new business? The meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. All right. Don't let Richard get away. There he is right there.